Typically, most of our region's races for Congress are, for the most part, uncompetitive. Incumbents tend to get reelected, and most of our districts lopsided in voter registration. But this year, there could be as many as 6 to 7 good races to watch for. And this year, that list includes Long Island's 3rd Congressional District, where veteran Congressman Steve Israel is retiring. You see him there in a conversation he had with Andrew at the State of the Union, and he's leaving with a warning shot. Israel warning that the primary job of Congress members, regardless of party, it is to get reelected, and that they need to raise 10 grand a week just to stay competitive. Among the names in the talk here to replace Israel is our panelist, Brad Gersman, who has launched an exploratory committee, I love when they do that, for a possible run for the Democratic side, since it doesn't really take a lot to pry it out of you. You're running, right?
I'm looking at it.
Oh,
I'm not sure I'm running.
You're
running. I don't know that I'm going to go the distance. I'm still not sure. I still have to assess everything.
What are the factors?
Well, the factors are obviously is finances. I have a very good job right now, and I enjoy what I do very, very much, and I enjoy my clients. And I also have to consider the time away from my family and from my kids. So aside from that, when a congressional district opens up, we all know, you mentioned, in being an incumbent, you continue to win and it becomes a lifetime job. So when something opens up in your neighborhood, you say to yourself, especially when it's me, and I know I would be best served to serve the people in that district, I have to look at it very, very carefully.
And I'm going to say this kiddingly, but I mean it seriously. You're not rubbing nickels together. You're always dressed fine. Dominic's, always eyeing the suits you're throwing on here. And I know you like to enjoy yourself here, and you got a great setup for yourself. God bless you. If you read, and I'm sure you did, you read Steve Israel's piece. This is a guy who was head of the DCCC, thankless job, run any of these campaign committees. Nonetheless, he had some chits. I mean, he was on the right committees. He had some leadership positions, albeit in the minority. He walked away. And I've talked to a lot of guys, including former members of Congress who come to this table every week, and when the cameras are off, they'll say without equivocation, I hate going to the chicken dinners 6 days a week, raising money, having to work the phones, begging and groveling to go do this. I'm in constant campaign mode, especially members of Congress who've got to do this nonstop because it's 2-year, obviously, terms. Again, with all that on the table, and you can't play the card, you don't know what it counts because you've been around this your whole life. What is still the appeal? And don't give me Mr. Smith goes to Washington. What's really the appeal to do this when you know everything that's on the debit side of the ledger?
Well, I'm going to look at the debit side of the ledger first, and I'm going to discount it because, first of all, I made a pledge. I would only serve 3 terms. That's only 6 years. Second of all, I'm not going to make any calls to special interests. I'm not calling the special interest for money. I want the people of the 3rd Congressional District to know what it's like and know what it feels like to have an individual who's untethered, is not a puppet to all these special interests, someone who's going to speak their mind and speak for the interests. And I know everybody says it, and you're going to hear political BS talk from everyone else, and you continue to do it. But for me, it's going to be real because I have nobody pulling my strings. As a matter of fact, there was a Democratic group conference yesterday of all the different individuals that want to run. 11 people of the 12 showed up. Guess who didn't show up?
Okay.
Well, all the leadership of the Democratic Party was there, from Suffolk County, Nassau County, and Queens. I don't care. I don't want their endorsement.
There is one Democrat who's got a lot of name recognition, a former county executive, one-time gubernatorial candidate. We know that didn't work out well for Tom Suozzi, and then he lost in his bid to get his old job back. That said, would he be, if you're handicapping this thing, the prohibitive favorite going into it?
Oh, from name rec, no question about it, he would be. But, look, I'm never going to say anything bad about Tom Suozzi. I like him very much. I just think, again,
look at the president. Something bad if you run.
I'm going to be saying a lot of bad stuff. And like I've told everybody, they're saying to me, Brad, we want to try to keep this, where we're all friends and things. I got all the calls from every one of them. And I just said, we're going to be friends. I said, but you understand, this is going to be a bloodbath. This is going to be brass knuckles. Look, Tom Suozzi is a great guy. I think he's a terrific politician, but this isn't the time for a politician anymore. Nobody wants another politician. They also don't want somebody who's going to make this their profession and become part of the political class. A lot of people already are. I would never want to make this my profession. I want to just do what's right for a period of time, step down, let the next guy or gal do it.
What, if anything, were lessons learned from the bishop seat? Okay, what did, if anything, what were the takeaways? I know different district, different part of Long Island, but nonetheless, somebody that was entrenched. Sure, the registration's a little bit more 50-50 there than maybe the third, but nonetheless, what, if any, lessons did you walk away from that one?
Well, look, first of all, Lee Zeldin ran a terrific race. I mean, I think he was somebody who was talking about international affairs and, the destruction of terrorists that are set out to kill us, and to talk about our best friend, best ally, only ally in the Middle East, in Israel. And I think those are the things that resonate in his district. And my district, I think it would resonate much more so. But that's what people are looking for. You know what? Saying I'm going to raise the middle class up from where it is today, and I opened this park and with my name on it, and I did all these things. I mean, I don't know. I see that stuff in my head just starts filling with all kinds of crazy clouds and gases.
He'd be entertaining if nothing else. But how much fun would he be running?
I think he's a very good candidate, and I really believe. I'm in the role of trying to stay neutral. I think he'll do much better than Swazi will.
Okay.
Folks are done with career politicians.
So wait a minute, you're running?
Yeah, of course he's running. Don't
you
listen.
running?
He's going to do this
No, he's got the-
exploratory
guys,
stuff.
you know,
and he's
you
really
run
not.
until you to stop running. That's the way life is.
What is this committee doing? Is it making
This
phone
committee-
calls?
There's nobody in the committee. The committee's Brad. All right? Listen, I hate this exploratory BS. You and I both know. Here's the committee. Brad. Okay, swear all members in attendance.
I
Brad
vote
means
yes.
Look behind me.
Yes, exactly. All right.
Richie, I think you might be right.
Yes, exactly. I'm right. All right. Let's stay in New York and go up to the 19th Congressional District in the Valley. That's where Republican Congressman Chris Gibson, he's retiring. And as he's told us before, making no mistake here, he's eyeing a possible run for governor in 2018. It'll be a very interesting primary, I believe, between he and Astrino. What this week, Democrat Zephyr Teachout, good friend to the show, received the backing of 10 of the 11 Democratic county chairs in the district. As many of you may remember, she rose to prominence, that in the 2014 governor's race, exceeding a lot of expectations in her primary fight against Governor Cuomo, who obviously won, but nonetheless, she made it a lot more difficult for him than I think he expected. But also running in the 19th district is former Assemblyman John Faso. Faso was also the Republican nominee for governor back in 2006 and the nominee for controller in 2002. He's represented by the November team, represented here by Jerry McKinstry.
Not your mugshot.
Yeah, exactly. Right. What'd you do? Jerry, there's a few other names on the Republican side. For the very reasons that Brad talked about, is there a concern that this cycle, being somebody who is a career politician, and I don't think that's a negative, but it's a pejorative in a lot of circles right now, that's going to be a tough sell to an electorate who just wants somebody different?
You know, and full disclosure, as you said, I mean, I'm working with the most qualified candidate in the field, John Faso. But, you know, he's worked in private practice. He's in private practice right now. One of the problems that that district faces is you have a lot of outsiders coming in. Zephyr Teachout is not from the district. I mean, she's apparently renting there.
Yep.
She just registered to vote last week, apparently. So I think, you know, she's going to have to overcome that. You know, Faso's been there for 30 some odd years. He's well known. He's got a track record. And he's got a good track record of, you know, with the state and cutting expenses and balancing budgets. So I think that, you know, works in his favor.
But do you sell that, Jerry, in that this, when you say Albany now, the first word that people are going to say corruption, even though John's not there, I get all that. I've done election nights with John, all right? That said, is it a net negative experience right now, especially experience when it relates to Albany?
You know, it could potentially be, but I think that's why you go out and that's why you campaign, and that's why this is the type of district where you go out and you shake hands and you meet people and you're out there. You go to the farmers markets, you go to Main Street, you talk to them, you listen to them, and that the district is spread out.
Yep.
It's a very large district, but again, he knows it. All the candidates will have to do this, and I think, you know, having a record and explaining that record is going to bode very well.
But
for
if
him.
it's Ted Cruz or Donald Trump at the top of the ticket with Faso on the ballot, how much harder does that make your job and his job?
You know, and that's a fair point. Top of the ticket is a very serious issue, I think, you know, when you're talking about, you know, races in the state, congressional races, and I think you just have to really kind of articulate where you're coming from and distinguish yourself.
very delicately not answer.
I like that. We get a lot of that here. Coming up next here, scandals rocking the executive mansion, this time in Michigan here. Did the Republican governor there put politics ahead of clean water and functioning schools? And if so, I'm going to ask the table, what should happen to him? Is it time he gets the pink slip or not here? Stay with us, everybody. We'll get into that after this.